Let's talk about maps. Towns like Natick are big places with many streets and buildings to know. In order to know what's out there without physically traveling to all these places, you can use a map. They're essentially illustrations of a place with details that show the viewer what is out there. What is a map for? A map is a tool to show a person what is inside a certain area of land. It might include features like rivers, parks, big buildings, streets, hills or mountains, and lakes. Maps help orient a person by showing what place is near another location. Using a map, you can see what buildings are near you without having to know the whole neighborhood yourself. How do you read a map? A map is basically a drawing of an area with little symbols included to represent certain details. This map of Natick in 1750, for example, shows the major streets in Natick and uses black and white circles to represent some of the houses in town. The names of some of the families that lived in those homes are labeled too. You can see the Charles River winding through the southern part of town at the bottom of the map, and Lake Cochituate cutting into town to the north at the top of the map. Maps have to specify what direction they're facing in order for the user to be able to orient themselves. The arrow on the bottom left corner of this map with a little N at the top is pointing north. Maps have to indicate what direction north, south, east, and west are on the map. These directions, north, south, east, and west, are known as the cardinal directions. In most cases, north is to the top of the page, south is to the bottom, east is to the right, and west is to the left. How do you make a map? Once you've decided what you're drawing a map of and which way you're orienting yourself, you can begin drawing major landmarks. If you were floating above the town like a bird or a cloud, where would certain landmarks be in relation to other sites? Let's start with this drawing of Natick I made. I started by sketching an outline of the whole town like this. I think it looks sort of like a cat's head. Then I drew in lines for some of the major roads I knew I wanted to include. I also added in the Charles River to the south. The river isn't the only body of water in town, though. I needed to add in Lake Cochituate and Nonsuch Pond. I then finished the basic map by adding in labels for the major streets, names of neighboring towns along the border, a small school symbol for the 5 elementary schools around town, a key or legend to explain what the symbols, colors, and lines mean, and a compass to show the cardinal directions. Can you make a map of your neighborhood?